it's an array problem. I'm using a hash map for the solution, but so there are n people that are split into some unknown number of groups. Each person is labeled with a unique ID from 0 to n minus 1. You're given an integer array group sizes, where group size is I, is the size of the group that person I is in. So the people are represented by the index of each array element, and the group sizes represents the number of people in their group. So for example, if group size is 1 equals 3, then person 1, that's like an identifier that IDs that person, must be in a group size 3. Return a list of groups such that each person I is in a group of group sizes I. And I'll show you a couple examples in a second. So each person should appear in exactly one group. They can't show up in multiple groups, and every person must be in a group. If there are multiple answers, return any of them. It is guaranteed that there will be at least one valid solution for the given output. And there are multiple different solutions depending on how you code this thing up. So just to clarify, make this problem as clear as possible, you can see that they're going to be passing in a group sizes array. So you can see in this one there are 7 people. The first person would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 7 indexes, but it's 0 index, so there's going to be a 0 representing the first person. So this person is in a group of 3, this person's in a group of 3, this person's in a group of 3, same thing. This is the only person in this array that's in a group of 1. So what we want to return is an array with basically the groups. And the groups inside of the array have the index number of the quote-unquote person in that group. So you can see the first
very similar to the word frequency thing, letter frequency.
Say that again, sorry.
Oh, hang on. So this is similar, not the same, but it's similar to the letter frequency thing we've been doing a lot of.
Yeah, it's close. I was trying to figure it out for like a couple days. I'd spend like an hour here, an hour there trying to figure it out, and I drew up these solutions where they just weren't working. I couldn't figure out the mechanics in it. So I think this one's gonna work. But
because
yeah,
there's no min or max. This looks like we could do it in one pass to me.
because there's no min or max.
Yeah, and wouldn't the output be valid? No, you got 3 arrays for the 3 groups. Does it matter which order we list the groups in?
No, there's going to be multiple different answers for it. Yep, and then let me just show the constraints before we get to the problem. So we have group sizes dot length equals n. N is going to be at least 1, and there's going to be up to 500 different people in this group sizes array. And then group sizes I is going to be at least 1, because there'll be at least 1 person in this array, and it'll be up to n. So let's just say
you can't put 6 people into a group of 7.
Exactly. So if the array that's coming into the problem, let's just say group sizes array has 6 in it, it's possible that each one of them, it says each one of them is the value of 6, and they're all just in one big group. But it's not possible, if there's only 6 people in this array, it's not possible that one of them are going to be 7. It's just not possible. Yeah. So I'm going to, I guess we could all start typing out typing out this solution right here, and then we'll optimize and try to make it better at the end. But basically, create new map. So I'm going to go ahead and just create a map called, we could call it person tracker or something. I'm always trying to find good names, but so boom. And then we are going to need an array to push the arrays onto. It's possible that you can do it somewhere in here. I didn't do it like that. Someone could go ahead and type that line out if you want, though. Get that muscle memory, get that experience.
I've been wondering if there's any way we can just pass in something and have the map constructor do this.
Yeah, I mean, there's 100 different solutions for a problem like this.
I don't know the details of that map constructor.
I would call this is the array that we're going to be outputting at the end. So like return the result. I guess I called it result right here, but you could call it anything really.
Right. And this time we have no idea how many groups will be.
Exactly. Yeah. So the first thing that I did was I created a for loop to loop through each one of the people in the group sizes array. There was a couple different ways I thought of, but initially the one I ended up going with was, let's just say for this one right here, for 3, even though there's 6 threes, when you add, let's just say you add 3 to the map, we're adding this array right here, and we'd actually add the indexes like that. And then later in the solution, I actually take this value right here, and I divide it by this length to splice this array in pieces and store it in the result array. But we could get to that when we get there. So create a for loop to loop through each one of the people in the group sizes array. So we're not actually looping through people, we're looping through group sizes array. You could do that with just a for loop, like for let I equals 0. Let's let him type this out just so we can see how he does. This is actually JavaScript. All good. Let's let him type this out and then let us know when you're done. Just create the for loop for now.
Excuse me, how to participate? Like everyone has turn?
Here, I'll structure it for you, and then you could go ahead and actually fill it in. All right. So, someone's got a lot of background noise. All right, so you just have to type in. So there's 3 things you're going to include in this for loop right here. One is the initializer of a variable that's going to keep track of the indexes in this array. The second one is going to be a comparison expression to compare whether we want to continue iterating through the for loop. And the last one is just going to be an increment operator to increment the index each time we go through the loop once. It looked like you were typing Python, though. That's why.
Hey, Jimmy, can you define what you mean by map? Is it a hash, a dictionary?
Yeah, it's like a dictionary.
So in JavaScript, that would actually be a simple object, right?
Basically, yeah. It's an object without the built-in object methods, essentially.
Hi, could you quickly share the initial problem one more time, if you can?
Yeah, it's right here. Are you in the Visual Studio Code? Because if you're in the Visual Studio Code, you can move between.
I just downloaded it, so I'm on the virtual online version.
All right, cool.
Thanks, I just got a screenshot.
Awesome. Cool, cool. So I'll go ahead and type this out since no one else is. It's going to say let I equal 0, while I is less than group sizes, because we want to iterate through this group sizes array. So group sizes dot length I plus plus. And then, so if the property already exists in this map right here, then we will just push the person identifier, we'll push I onto the value array. Because inside this map,
Yeah,
we're going to
I will
store,
be the key.
yeah. So we're actually going to build the arrays that we need to push onto the result right here in this map. And then else, if it does not already exist, then we'll create a new array to use as the value that we're pushing onto the map. We'll push the index onto that array, and then we'll set the value in the group sizes array into the map's value. So this is more steps than you really need for this, but I just really wanted to make it clear for the people who are newer. So we could go ahead and type if. I'll put the structure here, and then someone could try to get some experience typing out and getting some muscle memory if you like. So if the property already exists, how do you check to see if this 3 already exists as a key on the map? So these are our test cases right here. This is the first array that we're passing in. And if we're looping through the group sizes array, and we're using I to move through it one index at a time, first is going to be 3. So we need to check to see if that 3 exists as a key on this map with this if statement right here.
We could use in operator.
Yeah, that's one option. But typically with the map, you're using, who was it yesterday? It was Tenchi yesterday that pointed out that with the map, you're typically using the name of the map dot has. So the has method, yeah. I believe that was it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, dot has. I can also share. Let me see. Hold on. This is what I looked it up on. Shared it in chat. It's just the docs on JavaScript.
Cool. Oh, yep.
Yeah. I like W3 schools.
I like MDN. I can't stand W3 schools. Well, they're both really great for information, but I feel like MDN is more visually appealing. All right. So does anyone want to type out this if statement right here just to check if that property already exists on the person?
I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll take care of it.
do your thing.
Let's see. All right. If we're checking if person tracker already has it, so if person tracker
Yeah, it looks for a matching key. Yeah.
has I, and we do something. Do we want it to have it? So we're checking if it already has it, correct?
Well, we're not
Yeah.
we're not checking if it has I. We're checking if it has the value that I represents. So we're checking if it has a key of 3.
So if it has a key of 3, so if it has,
We're checking for the actual value of the element, not the index. I could bring this up
Right.
here.
okay, so if then this, so person tracker has a key. The key represents I've been trying to follow along with the question, man, but it's been a little quick. But
This is a little weird because the key is the group size, right?
It's right
the
here.
key is the group size.
Yeah, the property
Okay.
In the
property is going to be that
thing we're
thing.
building, yeah.
So if person
No,
tracker
the
dot
key is
get
the index of the of size group sizes, because it represents person. I mean, it's what the index points to.
Yeah, but the key of person tracker is actually going to be this.
Number 3, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be the 3. So person
Okay,
tracker dot
so
has, and then inside the has method, all
there's an
you
array.
have to
So
do is target this right here. So it's not I, but you're close.
so if person tracker, which what the hell is wrong with me right now, man? Oh, excuse my language, everybody. I'm sorry. So create a for loop to read through each one of the people. Dude, what am I confused about? So person tracker, the keys in this map, correct, are going to be the group sizes. So the actual value held at the indexes and group or the people in array.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's the key, we're looking for I. So that, can a map have duplicates keys? Because 3 is going to be, if that's the key, then it's going to be overridden every single time we try to
No, because
add a new 3. Is that right?
no, because if it already exists, then we are going to. If it already exists, then we're just going to push I onto that array. So basically, if person tracker has a property or a key called 3, then that means there's already an array as the value. And so like on the first iteration, we're actually going to go with the else path, but on the second one, when we're targeting the second index, that key already exists. So all we're going to do is take the index, which is 1, and push it onto that array. So it's going to.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so it's just these numbers are, so if it does exist, so if it has 3, or it can't be 3 because it's arbitrary. So if it has
The value of the
group
element.
sizes,
Yeah, exactly.
then we do, well, if it has it, then we say, can I continue or did you want to?
Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing.
Yeah.
Alright. So if it has it, then group sizes of I, and of dot push, or yeah, group sizes dot push. No, group sizes of, no. So it's going to be person tracker.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Person tracker dot get, correct? Get is group sizes I. Group sizes, no, get I. It's going to give us an array. Dot push. And we're pushing. What is wrong with me? Are we pushing I?
Push
No,
is you're getting the
Yeah.
array. So yeah, you
I
could push
is
it.
basically the person, so yeah, we're pushing I.
Okay, so we're getting I, which is the number, and then we're pushing. Something's off here, man. I'm sorry for holding it all up.
No, it's all good. This is what it's all about. Is I feel like it's always harder to solve a problem when there's like 8 other people watching too. So it's not just you. It's not just you. It's literally everybody. No sweat at all. But we're actually pushing I, so we're getting something else.
And we're getting the group sizes of I.
We're getting the key of person tracker.
Which is group sizes of I on this iteration, right?
Yeah, this might get simpler if above the if you put in a statement something like group equals, and then do an if person tracker dot has group.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I'm thinking
like
the same
that.
thing.
Go ahead, type it in. I didn't even think about that. So
You have to figure out
It's also a micro optimization because You don't have to look it up 3 or 4 times. You just grab your variable.
Alright.
All right, group size is I.
Let me see if
Add
that group
group.
exists.
And we're gonna get group, because if it already exists, so if it has it, we know it's there. So we get it, and then we push I onto that, and that should
Put that person in that group. Yep.
be that. Okay.
Alright.
Perfect. And then if it does not already exist, so we don't have to write out anything for that though. So what I did was I just created like a temp array. I pushed the index onto that array. So I did temp array dot push I. And I know this is more steps too, but and then I set the value of the group sizes array in the maps value. So I could even do person tracker dot, I believe, set, and we're using group now, right? Group represents the value 3.
Yeah. As long
Okay.
as we're in that loop. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then the value that we're setting is group size. Actually, it's just I believe. That should be good to go. Actually, we're
Well,
pushing it as an array. There we
there's a
go.
little bitty gotcha.
What's up? Point it out.
Go to the problem.png. Oh, well, no, it's not in there. Scroll down to your input data. Well, it's not there. Where? Oh, there we go. There's actually 2 groups of 3 people.
Exactly. Yeah, I
We
accounted
got
for
to
that right here.
detect if the one we got is full, we have to make a new one.
That was one way of doing it that I realized. But right here, if you look here, I'm looping through the map using a for loop, keeping track of the key and value. So each time we go through, I'm keeping track of the key and value. Then if the length of the array targeting a particular key is larger than the key, so eventually we're going to end up having an array on the 3 key that has a length of 6. So the key, the property name or the key is going to be 3, but the value is going to be an array of 6. So if the length of the array in the 3 key is larger than 3, so it is, because length is 6, key is 3, then I create a variable to figure out what we need to divide by. It's like a count variable or something of that nature. So like, or divisor or something. Divisor equals the length of the array divided by the key, which would give us back 2, and then I just loop through this array twice because it would be 2. And on the first iteration, I spliced 0 to key. And on the second iteration, I also spliced 0 to key, which is 3. So on the first iteration, I cut out the first 3 in the array. On the second one, the array only has 3 left. So I cut out the remaining array. And then each time I spliced the front 3 on the array, I pushed it onto the resulting array. So the resulting array ended up having an array of 3, then another array of 3, and then it didn't have, the last one was just 1, and the key of 1 was not greater than the length. So in that case, you just push the value onto the resulting array. So that was an option, Kevin. Actually,
That seems awfully complicated to me.
Actually, keeping track, it was an option. So if you want to go ahead and type that out and go with that method instead, that's totally cool.
Well, I don't know if it'll let you have 2 keys the same.
Why again do you think there would be two keys that would be the same?
No, there wouldn't be, because if you're keeping track of the length of the value of the array within that property or that key, once you hit the length of the key, then you could delete the property and start fresh.
But I mean, the map keeps track of what the group IDs are, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's only gonna when you in this first example, it's only gonna have two entries, 3 and 1.
Exactly. Yep.
So I'm missing the worry about there being two IDs in map.
The problem is there's 6 people that need to be in a group of 3. That means there has to be 2 groups of 3. And if the key is 3 in both cases, I'm wondering if that's going to cause an issue.
Well, so there's two ways of doing it. Either we could build up the key of 3 to an array of 6, and then handle that array later, just cutting it in half twice and storing it in the results array. Or we could keep track of when that array hits 3 and handle it at that point.
This problem has an ambiguity then. So now I understand it. This is basically saying what the max sizes of the groups are. So you're not being given a name for a group.
Nope.
Right.
Yeah. So okay, now I get that. But so what we need to do is figure out a way to create a group name. Like the first time we find a group of 3, we're going to call it 3A. And then the next time we can, then you have to count them. Then you have to keep track of whether it's full. If it is full, then you need to create a new group, maybe 3B. What the problem's not giving us is the name of the groups.
Yeah, but I think even still, if you're going with Kevin's method, I think even if you're going with Kevin's method, after you set the in this if statement right here where you're pushing it, you could just check right after this if state, like right here, person tracker dot get group push I. You could just be like person tracker group and get that, and if the group the length of the array equals the key, then you could just push that value on the key to the results array at that point, and then delete the key and start fresh. So you don't have to create
If we push them into some kind of output array,
the result array at that point. So right here,
and then get rid of that property, and the next time it finds a 3, it'll be like, hey, I found a 3.
Yeah. So if the value array equals the key, then take the value array, push it onto the results array right here, and delete the entry entirely and start over entirely. So that's one.
The requirement is to return an array of arrays.
Yeah, so that we'd be pushing that to the results.
The outer array, there's supposed to be one entry for each group.
Yeah.
We need to invent a name for each group because they're not giving it to us.
Yeah, but you wouldn't.
They don't want it. They don't ask for it back. So.
Yeah, the only thing that
matter on this.
The only thing that matters though is that if, let's just say we store this one, we store this one, we store this one, then on the person tracker map, we'll have a key of 3 and it'll have an array of 3. So if we're checking right here, if the value of the array's length equals the key, then take that array, take the value of that key, store it in the results array. So this will, then it would look like 0,
we have
1,
to do that
2.
check after we've pushed. We push the first 3, we push the second 3, we push the third 3, then we see that the length equals.
So the problem I found with that solution, Kevin, was it was just an extra operation in here. So every time you add something, you're also checking. Whereas with this, it was just like at the end, you're checking. I guess it's the same thing. Still an operation at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Well, I'd
Question.
like, yeah, what's up?
Okay, so just like a kind of conclusion here. So in the if statement here, we're checking if the 3 exists, right? And it already has a size of 3. That means we can't add another person there. We're just going to push that on the result, reset that to null or whatever, and make a new array, and then push our new value that has a 3 on there, and then continue until boom, end.
Yeah, so we wouldn't even know if there's going to be another 3. We would take this,
Right. We don't
take
know.
this 3, we'd run this else right here, create the key, create an array with 0. Then we'd get to the second one, we would push that I onto that array that exists, and then we would check if the key equals the length of that array. It doesn't, because the key is 3 and the length of the array at that point is only 2. Then we go through again, we grab this one, we would run this if statement, we would push that 3 onto the array, and then we would check again. Does the value of that array length equal the key? And if it does, then we just take that array that's in the value, push it onto the result, and delete that key.
Gotcha. Yep.
Delete it altogether.
Yeah,
and then it
all that
prevents...
happens before the else.
Yeah, so you're saying we could cut all this code out right here, Kev.
That's what it looks like.
Alright, yeah, that makes sense. So we could do...
Why are we deleting the key after the third insert?
Because there's only 3 people in this group. So if the length of the...
We can't have 2 keys that are both 3 is the real problem.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I
At least
handled
I don't
it
think
right.
we can. I don't know JavaScript that well. Maybe somebody knows something I don't.
Nah, it would say that you already have a property. So
Yeah,
alright, we could
C#
try
would
that.
let you get away with it.
Yeah, I handled that down here just separately, but we could try to build it in right here. So if
I think it'll work fine.
the value's length equals the key, push the value onto the results array, and then delete the key and value from the map. That should work. And then by the time we leave here, then the results array will have all of the required arrays within it, and then we could just return result, I believe, right?
Yep.
You want to see it to make sure it works.
What we want to
I'll keep that just in
push
case.
into the result is a group, an array of people.
Exactly, and we'll have that in our person tracker, because the person tracker will look like this. At that point, the person tracker will look like 0, 1, 2. So the length of the array will be 3. It'll match the key. So we'll take the value, we'll push that onto the results array, and then
Okay, I see what you're saying now.
then we'll delete 3,
So-
and it'll get rid of that and start fresh. So our map will be
Right.
empty at that point.
So I'll be nitty-picky here. The name person tracker isn't really accurate. The map is keeping track of open groups, and whatever groups that are open and can still be filled. It's really a group tracker.
Let's rename it then.
That's facts. That's facts.
Group tracker.
Yeah. Because it's actually being used to identify what any current open groups that are available, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So if it has a member called number 3, that means you have an open group that maxes out at 3.
Yep.
Yep, exactly.
Let me just do this too. I know this is minor, but whatever. Alright. Cool. Alright, so right here, if so we're gonna get group tracker group, which is group sizes I. So that would be the value of 3. So if the get group equals what is it? Group tracker.
Come on, buddy.
Right there, right? Because group will equal 3 on this iteration, and then we're checking it against the
Yep.
length of that, the value within that key. All right, if someone want to type the next 2 lines of code.
I could try.
Yeah, do your thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll be RB.
Makes my hair stand up.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
it happens if it's not returned.
All right, how we looking?
Group tracker has group. Blah 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 blah. Otherwise, we have to create a new array in group tracker. Okay, yeah, with that person in it. Yeah, and if we're really lucky, the result is ready to go.
Do we really need to delete the member to the map? We just need to delete the array associated with it.
Well,
No, we have to get rid of the key because it's going to come back up and try and recreate it on the 4th iteration.
Right, but you can just reset. You can just change the key to an empty array, right?
you can't.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
Can,
You can't.
you
Well,
can't.
can you?
Yeah, you can't. You can just change it back to an empty array, but there might not be any more 3s in here, so you're just keeping it around for no reason.
Right, and we're going to do a push. So
yeah, gotcha.
Better to delete it.
And then yeah, because if group tracker has group, then it's just going to push the I instead of creating an array and adding the I to it, which I guess is technically the same thing, though, right? All right, so let's try this bad boy out. Return a result. So as long as result dot push group tracker group, so that's going to push the actual array onto the result. So yeah, I think this should work. Temporary array, push I, group tracker set 3. Okay. Yeah, this looks good. Does anyone want to say anything else or make any other modifications before we try this out?
Let's try it.
Do we need to check if the input array can divide into group of arrays?
If the input array can what?
Like if I give a random array
Yep.
for the input, maybe it can't be converted into a group of arrays.
They wouldn't do that to us.
I don't understand what you're saying. Isn't that what we're doing?
He's saying, like, we take our current problem and add like a 1 to the end, a comma 1. So we have, one more person.
Then we would get
Like
4.
for
No, that
example,
can still be done.
we have two.
If we needed put like a 4 at the end.
Yeah, but if we want two, we could not like find a group of arrays that has
Right, because you've only got 3 people and you need 6.
I
yeah.
don't think you have to worry about that. I think the problem statement basically says you're guaranteed to have a valid solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
The problem doesn't say that each group has to be full either, does it?
Yeah, it does.
It does,
does,
but you're pretty much guaranteed like the numbers are going to work out.
Each person should
Yeah.
appear in exactly one group, and every person must be in a group.
No, what I'm saying is if let's say you had a 1 at the end, or you had the last open group.
Well, and
like
it says
4, but there's only 2 people left, so that group's only going to be returned with 2 people.
But it says at the bottom of it, the problem, it says it is
David's
guaranteed
correct.
that there will be at
David's
least
correct.
one valid solution. So
Gotcha. All right.
All right, let's try it out.
they're pretty evil, but they're not that evil.
Well, that would probably be an ugly thing that would pop up in production, though.
Yeah.
You mean you didn't give me enough people to fill the groups you said we had?
Yep.
Let's try this
If I
out.
give the user a numeric keypad, I'm still going to check for letters.
Same.
Never let your users use the numeric keypad, especially for passwords.
Uh-oh.
Group tracker is not a function. Let's run it in this quickly. So node. Group tracker is not a function. Huh.
I think you're missing like group tracker.has maybe, or group tracker.get or something like that.
Yeah,
Line
get will
21.
return the value,
Yeah,
and that's what we
I think
want.
that's it.
Wait, it was right here. Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh, yeah, bracket. Or get, yeah, same difference.
Same thing. Group tracker is not a function.
There we go.
Nope. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and then it's not including 5. It's down here. So for some reason, we do have 0, 1, 2, so that's working. We have 3, 4, 6, but it's not including, we're not getting 5 for some reason. We're not pushing 5 to the result array.
Is it? So that 5 is just staying inside the map. So at the end of this whole function, we have to loop over the map one time, just pushing each array still in the map, point to the results.
But the group is 1
Yeah, the
for the
group size should
5,
have caught that.
and group tracker dot get 1 dot length, which is 5, the value 5, but the length is 1. Then we should be pushing that onto the results array, though. That's the thing.
The number 1 is the first of its kind, so in the if statements, it's going to miss the first if, so it'll obviously skip the second, and we're going straight to the else, and in the else, I don't see where the result, because then after that, 1 is never encountered again, so there's no chance to remove it.
You're right. You're right.
Right, right.
You're
So
right.
at the end of the for loop, we have to map or
Yeah, we have to
iterate over the
we
map.
have to do that check inside the else also. Yeah.
You're saying, yeah, true. We could do but then,
But it's still just one loop, and that's really efficient. So that's good.
yeah, we could put this check inside the else, or we could loop over the map at the end.
Looping over it again is going to cost us, well, it's still going to be technically n at the end, right?
It's
So
the only.
Well, if it has to be done either way, then put it outside even the else, but still inside the loop itself. Does that make sense?
could.
Like, right? Oh, hey,
I'm sorry.
I'm having weird stuff on my end. Don't worry.
You're saying right here,
We can
Kev?
put it right there. Does that make sense?
Still inside the for loop, so in each
Group
iteration.
tracker 6. Yeah, because we would check
Yeah.
the one that we just made. We'd find it's the same, and we'd push it.
Yeah, let's try.
Like,
Yeah, that happens either way.
There we go. Beautiful. All right, cool.
5 by himself.
Nice.
We should go ahead and give it one of those evil input groups and see what happens.
break.
I have to sign off in like 2 minutes. They're kicking me out over here, so hopefully this works. Come on. Yes. Let's try to submit it.
Nope. It's going to get us.
Nice,
Okay.
nice.
Dude,
Not bad mine.
Good job. Not bad at all.
But can you explain why we put the if outside the loop?
Because we want this if to run whether we just created a new key right here, because for the else we're creating a new key, so this if statement, this wouldn't run if we had just created one and it only has a length of 1. So with this one right here, it's the 5th index. We're running this else statement, so we're creating the key of 1. We're putting an array of 5 inside of it, but
never puts anything in the result.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it never runs. So putting it right outside, it'll make sure that it runs this regardless of whether we're just creating a property and there's only one element inside the array, or if it's one with like multiple elements.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Awesome job, everybody. I do have to sign off because they're kicking me out over here. But thanks everybody for coming. We're gonna do we're doing a lot more of these, but I'm gonna be back in my house in like 20 minutes. So if anyone wants to, just hit me up and we could continue this conversation as well.